Hey guys, Neely here, coming in for a quick soup recipe. I am making a soup in my Instant Pot, and so I thought I'd show you what I've got going on. And I am not following a recipe. I am just kind of throwing in what I have that needs to be used, and I wanted to show you how I do that so that hopefully you can do that and learn how to just kind of throw things together as you need to, and not always have to have a recipe, because I will look at a recipe and it looks really good, but I usually am missing one or two ingredients, and I don't always want to drop everything and run to the store with all my kids. So I just kind of play it by ear and wing it. And so I'm going to show you how I'm doing that. So today I'm making a white bean and quinoa soup. It's going to have no meat in it, although you could add some chicken. That would be really good. But I'm just going to go for a meatless one here. We're trying to save money, so getting some beans and quinoa in instead of meat every once in a while is pretty cheap. So here we go. And this is going to be just one of those dump everything in and turn it on and let it do its thing type recipes. I am not even going to saute the onions and peppers. I'm just going to throw everything in and turn on the button and let it do its thing, and then it'll be sitting there ready, hot and ready for me to eat when it's time for lunch. So I am doing about a cup of bell peppers. Those are my yellow bell peppers, and a cup of diced onion. And those are my frozen ones that I froze this past summer, but you can definitely use fresh if you would like. And I am doing a half a cup of dry quinoa, and this is pre-rinsed. And then I'm doing 1 can of diced tomatoes, and I have the fire roasted ones. And then these are white beans that I cooked in my Instant Pot, of course, and that's a totally good option. But then you can also do 2 cans of white beans if you just want to take a shortcut. But they're so easy to cook in the Instant Pot, I'll have to do a video about how I do that. So I'm going to dump those in, and then I'm going to put in 4 cups of bone broth, and of course I also made this in my Instant Pot. And I've had it sitting in the fridge, and you can see how nicely gelled it is. So it's got all kinds of great minerals. Oh, I'm gonna have to scoop that out. And then the seasonings that I'm using, I wrote them down here for you. Usually I don't really measure, but I measured them since I knew I was gonna do this video. I'm doing 1 teaspoon of pepper, 2 teaspoons of salt, 1 teaspoon of chili powder, 1 teaspoon of smoked paprika, 1 tablespoon of Italian seasoning, and 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, and 1 teaspoon of onion powder. And if I had cumin, I would throw in about a teaspoon of cumin as well, but I am out of cumin today. So I'm just gonna pour that on top. And of course, at the end, you can taste it and add more salt and pepper or any other seasonings that it needs. But that'll just be enough to get me started. I'm just going to give it a real quick stir in here. Don't have to do anything too complicated. Just want to make sure everything's somewhat mixed. And then the main thing that I need to make sure gets cooked is the quinoa, because the beans are already cooked, and then the veggies will cook very fast. So I just need to make sure that the quinoa gets cooked, and in the Instant Pot, the quinoa can cook in 1 minute at pressure. So I think I'm gonna probably do about 5 minutes, and it'll take a little while to get up to pressure because it had some of those frozen onions and frozen peppers. It's about halfway full, or a little more than halfway full, and the fuller it is, the longer it takes to get to pressure. So I think I'm gonna put it on for 5 minutes, and that should be plenty enough time to get the quinoa cooked and the veggies tender. So I'm just gonna hit manual for 5 minutes. There we go. I just opened the lid, and here's the finished product. You can see the little white beans in there, and the white beans were pretty cooked, so a lot of them kind of mushed into the broth to make the broth a little thicker, so that's really nice. I tasted it, and the seasoning tasted just right, so I'm just going to leave it the way it is, and I am going to dish myself out a bowl of this beautiful white bean quinoa soup. And this is an E meal on THM if you follow the THM diet. That's it, guys. Hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you have any questions. Talk to you later. Bye.